Okay, welcome everyone to the October 24th meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board, 2018 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. This evening we had our agenda review at approximately 5:40 p.m. We started and ended just a handful of minutes ago. And Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kristoff?
Present.
Mr. Gittarelli?
Present.
Mrs. Miller-Herrera? Present. Mr. Signor?
Present.
Mr. Thomas?
Present. Okay, please stand for the pledge. Joe, would you lead us in the
Pledge allegiance
to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So a few things to mention this evening. We still have a display in the hallway celebrating October's Italian Heritage Month. Thanks to Dolores Scalise and the Sons of Italy for putting that together for us annually. So if you'd like to come to Town Hall to see that, it's right here, right outside the Town Hall meeting room. Halloween, Wednesday, October 31st, 2018. Designated hours for trick-or-treating are from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. And the Rotterdam Police Department is once again asking parents to please have their children in and at home by 8 p.m. Veterans Day services here at Town Hall Monday, November 12th. And we will be here at 2:30 p.m. at Town Hall. And if you'd like more information, please go to our town website at rotterdamny.org. It's a nice event. I hope that you can attend. Also, we're just letting people know early for planning purposes, National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day service will be conducted here at Town Hall on Friday, December 7th, and we'll begin at 1 p.m. here, so get here a little early for either one of these events. The parking lot does get rather filled. So I'd suggest you get here at least 15 minutes to half an hour prior to either the Veterans Day or the National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day services here at the town. So our first order of business tonight is a public hearing. Ms. Marco, would you read the public hearing?
To amend the code of the Town of Rotterdam 266-52 entitled Schedule 12, No Parking at Any Time, to prohibit parking on the north side of Cardiff Road extending west from the driveway located at 2002 Cardiff Road to the fire hydrant located at 2004 Cardiff Road, and then 10 feet on the either side of the driveway located at 2007 Cardiff Road.
Okay, do we have anyone for the public hearing? All right, anyone like to be heard on the public hearing tonight? Anyone in the audience like to be heard on the public hearing this evening? Anyone like to be heard on the public hearing? Okay, declare the public hearing closed. And move into our public comment privilege of the floor. Ms. Marco?
Jack Dodson?
Good evening, Jack Dodson, 1311 Cipriano Terrace. Two items on my agenda tonight, starting off with the budget, 2019 tentative budgets. I think I've attended 3 or 4 of the budget hearings so far. And just my observation of the budget process seems very archaic. Again, as I mentioned in a previous public meeting, the budget's 95 to 100 pages. Looking at the process, there's information that's looked at that goes back a couple budget cycles. And I guess my initial comment, and I've made this to the board already, is we're looking at spreadsheets, line after line after line, from a presentation standpoint, not only to the public, is why are we not using more of the graphical representation of what's there? In addition to that, there's a lot of looking back in the budget to all these other items. Why is there no trending relative to the line items? There's specific line items that you have that you're always going back and look at, hey, what happened here and there? I got to tell you, visual is far better than going back and looking at all these individual items one by one by one. I mean, look at the time and effort that you guys are putting into the budget process. And you guys are doing a budget process the way it's always been done. I bet you this budget process hasn't changed in 30 years. And we have all this great technology right now, and it's not being used. which gets me back to you guys would save yourself a tremendous amount of effort, okay, and changing how the budget process is done. It's up to you guys. Do you want to continue to do it the way it's been done in the past, or do you want to update it so it's in a way in which the younger generation now can start to understand what's in our budget? There's no one interested in this budget because it's very difficult to understand what's going on in the budget. Again, I go back to your meetings. You guys have a tough time on your own going back and looking at this budget. How would you expect that the public, again, is going to take an interest into something that is very complicated? And then I look at it from your guys' standpoint, if you want to understand it, to have trending and projections really allows you guys to have the vision of what you may want to do down the road. I look at a budget that I'm coming into right now, tentative 2019. This overall general budget's $15 million. The total budget's $25. If we start making projections on the budget for the next 5 years, we're looking at hefty budgets of $1 million to $1.5 million a year. Boy, I'd love to see that trending going on in the future and how we're going to actually raise the revenue necessary to continue to meet a budget that's being raised $1.2 to $1.5 million a year. I trend our school budgets, and I'm amazed, okay, in those budgets, okay, what the trending of those budgets look like and what the impact on those future budgets are going to be to taxpayers in the future. It blows your mind in the amount of money that we're potentially looking at down the road. When I see that we're looking at a $15 million budget and all your efforts to date is $60,000 on that budget, okay? If that tells you something. That tells me that budget is extremely fixed from year to year, and there's very little wiggle room in that budget to allow you guys to do other things. And you think I'm crazy when I come up here and tell you that when I break the budget down, there's $320,000 to $360,000 a year for quality of life? That's the reality of it, because I stood here last year making a very similar presentation, and I'm at about the same number again this year. That number's not going to change. I finally realized that I'm coming to a meeting to expect that there's going to be some significant change in our budget. That can't happen. So the only way that I look at doing new things in the town is additional sources of revenue that we may get in order to allow us to do something else. So I really think that the public should know that, okay? It solves the whole budget process. Here's the visual, the graphics of it, and we get to work in this budget $60,000 to $100,000 a year, and we just ended at that. The only other item that I had on my agenda again is I know the last month or so, maybe it's been longer, I've attended the Planning Commission meetings and I've been here, and I know tonight you guys are going to adopt I think it's a local law relative to changing the special use permits, and this particularly is the hospitals. Again, like I said, I attend the Planning Commission meeting. The definition of a hospital has been updated. The thing that I would throw out again and ask the board is when changes like this are being made, are they reactive changes or are they proactive changes? What do you mean by that? Is the town familiar with something that potentially is happening with hospitals or I'll say emergent care or others, okay, through the Planning Commission or just through general town business, and you guys were actually proactively changing something where you already know there's a potential development coming into the town, but it's not being shared at this time, and are reactively changing, okay, knowing that there's a potential for this coming down the road that minimizes, okay, public comment, okay, when the time comes relative to a change in special use permit or a change in zoning. And my comment on that is just be a little careful. It comes back again, as I mentioned, to comprehensive plan. We should have a vision and direction for the town. We shouldn't be reacting to development coming into our town and now knowing how that development's I would say maybe taken negatively in the community, that we're being a little more proactive to say, hey, the zone change has already been made for something that we're anticipating is coming down the road. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. All right, let's go into the resolutions then. Resolution 28618.
Adopt the meeting minutes from the October 5th, 2018 and October 10th, 2018 town board meetings.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 28618 passes. Resolution 28718.
Declare the town board as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the proposed local law referenced in resolution number 28818.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 28718 passes. Resolution 28818.
Call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, November 14th, 2018 at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, upon adoption of a proposed local law of the year 2018 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 270 zoning, Section 270-5, definitions for the term hospital; to amend Chapter 270 zoning, Section 270-56, special uses to include hospitals and care homes as defined under the Section 270-5, definitions as a special use in the B1 Retail Business District; to amend Chapter 270 zoning, Section 270-64, permitted uses to include hospitals and care homes as defined under Section 270-5, definitions as a permitted use in the B2 General Business District; to remove Chapter 270 zoning, Section 270-28C, special uses.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? So on the question, I just wanted to it's not really reacting, but just to hear some of your comments that you made. So the town, when the town does change or call for public hearings regarding zoning changes or language, changes to language and zoning or fee structure or fines, whatever it happens to be, we have to call for public hearings. There's always a reactive component and a proactive component, I think, and it's really a little bit of both. The reactive side is that when Albany Med came in with their emergent care facility, they had great difficulty through the planning process to fit their operation where it is in the Hanford Plaza. At the same time, the town has had numerous inquiries, whether it was through and I don't want to be overly specific, but property along Campbell Road where the Viaport is and some of the empty retail space there, to Hamburg Street, to Curry Road. And so over time, what happens is we can't properly conduct business with those entities because the process just takes too long and they want to come in quickly. And as I think we're all aware, the way in which healthcare is conducted today, things are changing. Emergent care is popping up everywhere, and at the same time, we have an aging population and a population that needs services, and we need to be able to be proactive in having those entities be able to come to Rotterdam and come in and say, can we do what we'd like to do here in this area? And for the town planning department, for the planning commission, and the town board, if necessary, to be able to say yes or no. And by changing our code, we'll be more apt to do that and in a quicker fashion. So whether it's an up or down vote. On the other hand, what happens is it just becomes a long drawn-out process, and frankly, end up spending a lot of money in engineering costs and other costs and time that frankly these entities don't have. They want to care for their people. What I mean by that is whether it's our townspeople or their clients or their patients. And I think that time is of the essence for us to be put the town in a position where we can more readily accept the changes in the system that's been happening for many years. But in particular, when it comes to providing care for our people, again, from an emergent care perspective all the way to senior care. So that's where I'll leave that, but that's where we are right now. So we have a motion by Mr. Christou and a second by Mr. Gitarelli. Anyone else on the question? Okay, let's call for the vote, please. Ms. Marco, the roll.
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 28818 passes. Resolution 28918.
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby adopts the Town Board's 2019 preliminary budget and calls for a public hearing to be held on Monday, November 5th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for the following purpose: to hear comments by the public both in favor and against the 2019 preliminary budget as compiled and both for and against any items contained therein.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 28918 passes. Resolution 29018.
Call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, November 14th, 2018 at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, upon adoption of a proposed local law of the year 2018 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 72, alcoholic beverages, to include Section 72-3, penalties for offense.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second
A second by Mr. Gitarelli. Anyone on the question? I would just like to read the draft Chapter 72 alcoholic beverages into the record. So the chapter or section 270-3, penalties for the offense. Any person, firm, or corporation who shall violate any of the provisions of this chapter, any rule or regulation made pursuant thereto, shall, upon conviction thereof, be punished by a fine of no less than $250 or imprisonment for a period not to exceed 15 days, or both, for conviction of a first offense, for conviction of a second offense, both of which were committed within a period of 5 years, punishable by a fine not less than $500, no more than $1,000, or imprisonment for a period not to exceed 15 days, or both. And upon conviction for a third or subsequent offense, all of which were committed within a period of 5 years, punishable by a fine not less than $1,000, no more than $2,000, or imprisonment for a period not to exceed 15 days, or both. Each day of continued violation shall constitute a separate additional offense. Okay, so no one else on the question. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Yes.
Mr. Gitarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 29018 passes. Resolution 29118.
Call for a public hearing to be held on Wednesday, November 14th, 2018 at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, upon adoption of a proposed local law of the year 2018 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 265, property maintenance, Section 265-4, duty to maintain property, to include K, a prohibition on unregistered and inoperable motor vehicles being stored in open site on any premises, and no vehicle shall at any time be in the state of major disassembly, disrepair, or in the process of being stripped or dismantled. Painting of vehicles is prohibited unless conducted inside an approved spray booth.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? So on the question, Kate, would you just remind us of the progression of where the state was with the number of vehicles that were or were not allowed, and where we are today, what we're doing?
Sure, so the state has adopted many of the international codes with modifications that subsequently are uniformly known as the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code of New York State. And so one of those books is entitled Property Maintenance and details under the state law in what fashion you must keep your property in order to be in compliance with the state law of the state of New York. You have adopted that law and incorporated by reference in chapter 154 of your own town code. So previously, you could have no more than two unregistered or inoperable motor vehicles. That subsequently changed with an effective date of December of 2016. You could have none. Then the state put out a notification, a supplement to the property maintenance code in 2017 that then again allowed you to have two. So the state has modified that a bit through the last 2 to 3 years. And so since they have switched back in the opposite direction to now allow up to two unregistered or inoperable motor vehicles to be held on your property, the town is now seeking to curtail that.
Okay, thank you. So we're going back to 0.
Correct.
Okay. Is that a sufficient explanation for everybody? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So 291-18, we have a motion by Mr. Christo, a second by Mr. Signor. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 291-18 passes. Resolution 292-18.
Pursuant to Sections 2 and 189 of the Highway Law of the State of New York, the Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby directs, upon the recommendation of the Town Highway Superintendent, the following highways to be included on the New York State Department of Transportation official road inventory for the Town of Rotterdam. Anna Court from Old Fort Avenue to the dead end of the Town Highway. Olean Street from Broadway to municipal boundary line of the City of Schenectady.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question?
This is just a housekeeping issue.
Yes, the big scheme of things, yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 292-18 passes. Resolution 293-18.
Authorize the supervisor to sign negative declaration dated October 24th, 2018 to amend town code to allow for hotels and motels as a special use in the B1 retail business zoning district.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 293-18 passes. Resolution 294-18.
Adopt local law number 9 of the year 2018 for the following purpose: to amend chapter 270 zoning, section 270-56, special uses to include hotels and motel, as defined under section 270-5, definitions as a special use in the B1 retail business district. Public hearing was called for at the town board meeting of September 12, 2018. The public hearing was held at the town board meeting of September 26, 2018.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 294-18 passes. Resolution 295-18.
Call for bids to be open on Wednesday, November 7th, 2018 at 10:30 a.m. for the sodium hexametaphosphate to be used by the Town of Rotterdam Water Department for the year 2018.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Mr. Christo, motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 295-18 passes. Resolution 296-18.
Call for bids to be open on Monday, November 19th, 2014 at 10 a.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for the service police vehicle maintenance for the police department for a 2-year period commencing January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020, or 2020, I'm sorry.
2020. All right. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 296-18 passes. Resolution 297-18.
Call for bids to be open on Monday, November 19th, 2018 at 10:15 a.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for dry cleaning services for the police department for a 2-year period commencing January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 297-18 passes. Resolution 298-18.
Call for bids to be open on Monday, November 19th, 2018 at 10:30 a.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for the car washing services for police vehicles for the police department for a 2-year period commencing January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 298-18 passes. Resolution 299-18.
Refer to Planning Commission for report and recommendation thereon, a proposed local law of the year 2018 for the following purpose: to allow for a change of zone request from Zapone Group Management LLC as designee contact for Edward K. Kaufman for a property located at 2142 Hamburg Street, Rotterdam, New York, 12303, and is known as tax map number 59.7-10.11. The applicant is requesting a change of zone from retail business B1 to light industrial I1 for the construction of storage units.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 299-18 passes. Resolution 318.
Authorize the supervisor to execute 2 change orders with Carver Construction located at 494 Western Turnpike, Altamont, New York, 12009, for additional costs related to the 5th well project in an amount not to exceed $13,700.99.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Miller Herrera. Okay, anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 300.18 passes. Resolution 301-18.
Authorize gasoline and diesel expenditures from July 1st, 2018 through and including September 30th, 2018 to be transferred into various accounts.
Okay, may I have a motion, please? Motion by Mr. Signor. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 301-18 passes. Resolution 302-18.
Authorize the controller to amend the title of the budget appropriation line descriptions to reflect the current title of employees.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Signor. Anyone on the question? Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Resolution 302-18 passes. Resolution 303-18.
Authorize budget transfers by the town controller to various accounts for 2018.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Christo. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gitterelli. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Gitterelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 303-18 passes. We have 304. Resolution 30418.
Amend the Rotterdam Town Board meeting schedule to include a town board meeting on November 5th, 2018 at 5:30 PM to be held at the John F. Trivet Government Center, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Miller Herrera. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sigmar. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 30418 passes. Thank you. So our special meeting will be on November 5th, Monday night, at 5:30. Do we need to break for any more budget discussion this evening? We have it on the agenda, but I think we kind of resolved most everything. No, that's after, at our meeting in November, but we have the public hearing on the 5th. No, so what happens by operational law, the tentative becomes the preliminary becomes the final budget. If nothing else happens, even if the board voted, correct me if I'm wrong, even if the board voted in the negative, the preliminary budget stands as the budget of the town.
If you did nothing.
If we did nothing further, right, okay, so that you understand that. So, does anyone have anything under committee reports, or? I guess I'll just say publicly about the senior center. We're the company that is putting in our new fire and smoke alarm systems there in order to ensure that the building is safe for anyone to venture into it. They're very close to completion. We should know within days here that we can start getting back into the building and allowing for services to continue there. We will be cordoning off those sections that are under construction or are not safe for for traveling, if you will, through. There are a couple of sections that are in dire need of repair and upgrades. So that's where we are with that. I just wanted everyone to know. But those election districts that have gone to the senior center for elections, they'll be there on November 6th, right? That they will be open for election day. There's no, we'll be fine by then for certain, but we're hoping that we'll have it open have the senior center open much sooner than that. I don't have anything else right now outside of what we already announced earlier. Anyone have anything?
Supervisor, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Christo and a second by Mr. Signor to adjourn. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll for adjournment?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Guidarelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Signor?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for attending the meeting this evening.